Hello, Pilgrims. Welcome to the Camino News Update. I'm Lee Brennan, and my co host, Johnny Walker, will join us shortly. It's the first week of May, and boy, do we have a packed show for you this week. Daniel Jarvis from Camino Hacks and Tips will join us with packing advice to make your next Camino even better. And we have some exciting news to share about the new Camino Welcome Center in Albergue in Madrid. Sven Kaven from We Walk Now invites you along as he walks the Camino Francés. But first, let's catch up with Johnny for this week's top story, the day the lights went out on the Camino. Pilgrims, would you be prepared for something like this happening? All right, Johnny, so what do you have for us on the big power outage? What happened to Santiago?
Well, I wasn't in Santiago. I was in London
That's
due to,
right.
due to fly back to Santiago. And I heard about this on the news that all it simply said was there was a power cut in Spain. And of course, that's by no means unusual. But it always comes back on. So against the advice of my friends, I went out to Heathrow Airport to discover absolute pandemonium.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
well, all flights to Spain and Portugal and parts of France had been cancelled. And of course, people were saying, what's happening? How do I get back home and so forth? And anyway, I simply got back on the train and went back to my friends in South London. And I flew back the following day. It was fine, quite different the following day. But of course, by that point, I had been trying to message people in Santiago to say what's happening. And at that point, I realized there were no mobile phones.
Yes.
People had been stuck in lifts. Trains had stopped. I was speaking to a mutual friend of yours and mine, Lois, who owns Iris Nunez, the cafe bar. And he said, John, people could only pay in cash because the machines weren't working. But all we did was sell beer and sandwiches the entire day. So people got back. One of the interesting things, Lee, is, I find Spanish drivers quite crazy, much
Mm.
like Italians. But they say on the day of the apagón, a new word means the blackout. On the day of the blackout, drivers were very polite. And
Oh,
when people wanted to cross the road, they stopped and they said, please cross the road. They let other cars go. So there we are. Good nature came to the surface.
yeah. Well, our friends Jeff and Kelly, who live out on mile marker 59 on the Camino Frances, said that, they were actually talking to a lot of pilgrims coming by that day and the next day. And, they were making comments about how many pilgrims said to them, I don't have any cash, or I only have $50 notes, and I can't use them because people don't have change for
Hmm.
beer if I'm handing them a 50 euro. So she said that was really interesting. And so she wanted us to recommend to everyone to make sure that you carry cash, but also carry small denominations when you're walking.
Absolutely. And I think that's a general lesson for the Camino at any time, is
Yes,
is to not simply rely on plastic, because
exactly.
not everyone takes debit or credit cards, and always have cash in small denomination notes.
Yes, and always carry extra water and an extra snack or two because you never know what's going to happen out there. I mean, who would have ever predicted this? And, luckily, I think for some pilgrims, it ended up being a lot of fun. It forced more conversation because people didn't have their phones to look at. Everybody just completely lost phone power, internet, everything.
Absolutely. And there are lovely stories of
Oh,
communal
lovely.
meals, people sharing food together on the
Yes.
Camino, helping each other. And well, there we are.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So how
One
are we doing on the stats? What are the stats looking like for April?
Well, I tell you, I heard people talking recently to say the numbers are down. The numbers are definitely not down. As of yesterday, at the close of play, 85,000 Compostelas have been issued in the year. Now, Lee, I've also sent you a very interesting newspaper article. What they've done as a part of the Camino coming into Santiago is they're detecting the number of mobile phones that pass the sensors, and
Oh, really?
they reckon that perhaps 40% more people arrive in Santiago than get the Compostela. So
Wow.
counting the number of people entering pilgrims entering the city on the Camino routes, and they compare that to the number of Compostelas. So far, 85,000 Compostelas have been issued, but perhaps that's actually over 100,000 people have arrived if 40% more don't go and collect the Compostela. So that's another very interesting aspect to all of that. And I was walking on the Camino Francés yesterday, as it happens, that a place I was going to. Well, it was jam-packed. It was
Yes.
jam-packed with pilgrims coming in. So the Camino is very busy. 9% already, 9%, 10% more pilgrims this year than last year, and perhaps up to 40% more coming into the city than we know about, because they don't go and get their Compostelas.
Yeah. Well, I've been hearing that cafes are packed, that it feels like
Absolutely.
Camino's in full season right now. It doesn't necessarily feel like the start of May.
And it's only the beginning of May.
Right.
And of course, well, I've also sent you the weather. The weather has been dreadful. I mean,
Yes.
we've had monsoon torrential rain in Galicia over the last few days. A yellow alert yesterday at the beginning of at the beginning of May. And let me assure you, the rain was bouncing off the streets. So the poor pilgrims, and that does affect the numbers. Not people who have travelled from abroad and bought their aeroplane ticket, but Spanish people can just say, I'm just going to stay at home. So the numbers get slightly depressed, but already 10% more pilgrims than last year. So it's going to be another bumper year.
Yeah. Fantastic. That's great news to hear.
Hmm.
All right. Well, we'll check back in with you in a couple of weeks to get more updates. And thank you so much.
Well, lovely to see you.
You
Take care.
too, Johnny. All
Bye
right.
bye.
Bye. I sat down with Daniel Jarvis last week to interview him for the Camino Cafe podcast. And during that, he was kind enough to give us some packing tips here for the Camino News update, just as he was packing to leave to walk the Camino Madrid, which he is on right now. How is your packing different for this Camino? I mean, you've been walking since 2016. How has your packing changed over the course of these years?
Well, I've stopped packing everything in the kitchen sink, which is what I did in 2016. I took so much stuff for every eventuality. I think they refer to it as packing your fears. I packed my fears and everybody else's fears. So it was a really heavy backpack. I think I had a pair of trainers, I had a pair of boots. I even took an iPad because I was going to vlog. And then when I got there, I realized the software didn't work. So I never used it. So I thankfully don't take all of that now. And I've learned to kind of pack quite minimalist. But I think it's really important to say that there's a kind of a movement for ultralight packing, which I understand. It's great to have a light pack, but we're going on Camino. We're not going to war. You don't have to be miserable. Yes, it's a pilgrimage, but you don't have to invite suffering. So for me, I cannot stand the majority of albergue pillows. I love albergues. They're great for meeting people. They're the lifeblood of the Camino. But get their pillows away from me. So I will take a travel pillow, not a
Yeah.
blow up one. This kind of, I think they're designed or made in Ireland or something. So I'll pack elements like that. I take some like I'm going now, I'll take some kind of leggings or some joggers, things like that, just to keep myself warm. I take other little elements and little things that I know that work for me. So it's about trying to pack minimally, but not to the extent of making yourself miserable. I'll take 2 pairs of socks, 2 pairs of pants. If someone commented on one of my gear videos saying, that's not enough for me, I wouldn't, I'd feel anxious. It's like, okay, well, pack a few more, but just be aware that everything you pack adds weight. Kind of do it mindfully. For me, 1 pair of walking shoes is enough. If you're going in wet weather, consider Gore-Tex, something like that. Stuff them with newspaper that next day. You don't really need to pack a pair of boots and a pair of trainers. Just pick one that you will wear.
So what would be things that you're like, there's no way I'm walking without these things in my bag?
But for me, it's a blister pack. It's a pack that I've made. I reference it in a couple of my videos. I had a couple of comments on YouTube where people were saying, I don't get blisters. I don't need that. You don't need to pack that. That's not essential. And I countered, and I will always counter by saying, for me, the Camino isn't just about me. It's about other people.
Yes.
And I generally don't get blisters. I'll get hot spots and I can treat them very quickly with my blister kit. But it's about helping other people. When I walked the Primitivo, I helped 4 or 5 other pilgrims with their blisters all along the way. They're in my Camino family. I saw some of the worst blisters I've ever seen, and I helped him. It's about being able to help others. So that, for me, that blister pack is an essential item. And another essential item for me, kind of in the shower, in the summer, you don't take a second pair of footwear. I take recovery flip-flops. And
Yes.
I was having such issues with, say, Havaianas or just a standard decathlon flip-flop. They don't support your arch. Walking around the town, going for dinner, going for drinks, my ankles were killing because I had these really flimsy flip-flops. So for me, they're a bit more expensive, but they just help me. They help my knees, they help my joints after a long day. And, it's, for me, that's an essential addition to my pack. Doesn't mean it will be for someone else. It's about finding items that help you and, attuned to you, your walking style and your body.
Everyone, be sure to check in on Camino Hacks and Tips. He's going to be filming this latest walk and doing some fun videos from this, as he always does. Check the show notes for links to connect with Dan at Camino Hacks and Tips. Bill and Tom, both directors on the board for the American Pilgrims on the Camino Association, join us now to give us the latest on the new Camino Welcome Center and Albergue in Madrid.
We were indeed excited to be a part of this. We're making history, and we were privileged enough to work with the different associations, especially FICS, to help bring this dream to a reality. It is a much needed albergue in the beginning of the Madrid Camino, and we hope that it's not only going to prosper, but serve many, many pilgrims for years to come. There is also a welcome center that will serve as an orientation. If it's Pilgrim's first Camino, give them an idea of what to expect, their orientation in the different Camino routes, and to launch them on that joyful road to Santiago that they're seeking.
Walking out of Madrid is becoming really popular. I mean, Bill, you just walked it.
Yes.
And so it's going to be a great destination to spend the night for your first night in Madrid and then start walking out from there, I would think.
Yeah, I think so. As well as people that are going to other parts of Spain to start their Caminos. I think from American Pilgrims on the Camino organization, we were certainly proud to be invited and to be able to attend it. We're very proud. The fact that this is our first larger grant towards making this happen. And so we're happy and glad that pilgrims will have an opportunity to be welcomed and to rest before they begin their Camino. So I think it's a powerful reminder of the ability of people to cooperate across borders and to work together in a common goal in the brotherhood of pilgrimage and the Camino.
Yeah, I think that's so exciting. I mean, we've got American Pilgrims on the Camino that have committed a huge contribution to this, as well as I think the Canadian Association. You said the Korean Association. So it's really like walking the Camino. We have this worldwide interest and support of our pilgrims, and this albergue is going to have 24 beds.
Initially, and there are plans to expand it, but currently it does have 24 beds, yes.
Okay. And to give pilgrims an idea of the location, Bill, you were just there. Could you give us maybe some type of idea of a landmark and how far it is from that landmark in Madrid?
From the Plaza de Mayor, it's probably just about a half-hour walk from there.
Well, nothing for pilgrims.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's just it's a short hop away. I think it's in a nice area. There's a number, there's many cafes and places to eat. So for pilgrims that want to stay at the albergue, there's certainly opportunities for them to, have some good Spanish cuisine.
There will eventually be a reservation center through the associations that have participated in supporting this new welcome center and albergue, and that's in the works. But right now, it's pretty much, like most albergues, you show up and if there's a bed available, you might get lucky and get one.
I think it's great. Like I said, even as a welcome center for people to get information and to learn about different things, the routes they're walking or whatever, in terms of just visiting Madrid. I think that's great to have that ability to welcome in the spirit of the Camino, have welcomed people and send them on their way.
Well, we're going to do a follow-up interview, something much more in depth for the podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. Really appreciate it. And now let's take a gorgeous walk on the Camino with Sven Kaven.
Please stay when all is left is my sorrow. Please pray when all you feel is you don't know. Please stay if you believe in tomorrow. Please say that you'll be there when I let go. I tell you hope is gone if you don't stay. I tell you I am done if you don't show me the way. Please stay if only for today. Please stay when you see the sky is low. Please pray, I know you don't believe so. Please stay when I demand you to go. Please say I am the one you will follow. I tell you hope is gone if you don't stay. I tell you I am done if you don't show me the way. Please stay if only for today. Will you return before I drop? I'll freeze the sun to make you stop. I see you leave, I know I'll fall. Will you retrieve my wounded soul? Please stay, please pray, please stay, please say you will retrieve my wounded soul.
We end the show tonight on a sad note. We learned while we were on break that UK-based pilgrim Sarah Packwood tragically passed away in a boating accident. We featured her music in one of Sven's short films last March. Here's a clip with her performing her original song, Meet Me at the Table. We'll close out this week's show in her honor with her song. Pilgrims, thanks for being here. We hope to see you in a few weeks. Until then, please take good care. Ciao.
Meet us at table We'll eat till we're full and tell stories till midnight. Sure, it won't be dull. We have more in common than divides us, you see. So be at peace, pilgrim, you're welcome and free. And I'll pour you a glass and we'll toast this fine day. When you came here for a visit whilst walking the way, and I'll pour you a glass and we'll toast this fine day. When you came here for a visit whilst walking the way. Outreia, Eisuseia, Outreia, Eisuseia, Outreia, Eisuseia, Outreia.